Hello again. My name's Gabe Zolna. One of my friends sent me a rather interesting email, and it was written by a respected black writer by the name of Mychal Massie. He's a talk show host in Los Angeles, California. And he wrote, "The other evening on my Twitter, a person asked me why I don't like the Obamas. Specifically, I was asked, quote, I have to ask, why do you hate the Obamas? It seems personal. Not policy related. You even disrespect their Christmas family picture. The truth is, I do not like the Obamas, what they represent, their ideology, and I certainly do not like his policies and legislation. I've made no secret of my contempt for the Obamas. As I respond to the person who asked me the aforementioned question, I don't like them because they are committed to the fundamental change of our country into what only can be regarded as a communist state. I don't hate them per definition, but I condemn them because they are the worst kind of racists. They are elitist, Leninists with contempt for traditional America. They display disrespect for the sanctity of the office he holds and for those who are willing to admit same. Michelle Obama's raw contempt for white America is transpicious. I don't like them because they comport themselves as emperor and empress. I demand respect for the office of the president and a love of a country and her citizens, from the leader entrusted with the governance of same. President and Mrs. Reagan displayed an unparalleled love for the country and her people. The Reagans made Americans feel good about themselves and about what we could accomplish. His arrogance by appointing 32 leftist czars and constantly bypassing Congress is impeachable. Eric Holder is probably the most incompetent and arrogant DOJ head to ever hold the job. Could you envision President Reagan instructing his Justice Department to act like a jackbooted thug? Presidents are politicians, and all politicians are known to pretty much expected to manipulate the truth, if not outright lie. But even using that as a low standard, the Obamas have taken lies, dishonesty, deceit, mendacy, subterfuge, and obfuscation to new depths. They are verbally abusive to the citizenry, and they display an unease for civility. I don't like them because they both display bigotry overtly, as in the case of Harvard professor Louis Gates when he accused the Cambridge police of acting stupidly. In her code, speak pursuant to how being able to be proud of America. I view that statement and that mindset as an insult to those who died to provide a country where a Kenyan, his illegal alien relatives, and his alleged prodigy could come and not only live freely, but rise to the highest, most powerful position in the world. Michelle Obama is free to hate and disparage whites because Americans of every description paid with their blood to ensure her right to do that. I have a saying that, quote, the only reason a person hides things is because they have something to hide, end of quote. No president in history has spent over $1 million to keep his records and his past sealed. And what the two of them have shared has been proven to be lies. He lied about when and how they met. He lied about his mother's death and problems with insurance. Michelle lied to the crowd pursuant to nearly 500,000 bank stocks they inherited from his family. He has lied about his father's military service, about the civil rights movement, and nausea. He lied to the world about the Supreme Court in a State of the Union address. He betrayed and publicly insulted a sitting congressman. He has surrounded himself with the most rabidly radical socialist academians today. He opposed rulings that protected women and children that even Planned Parenthood did not seek to support. He is openly hostile to businesses and aggressively hostile to Israel. His wife treats being the First Lady as her personal American Express black card, arguably the most prestigious credit card in the world. I condemn him because as people are suffering, losing their homes, their jobs, their retirements, he and his family are arrogantly showing off the life of entitlement as he goes about creating and fomenting class warfare. I don't like them, and I neither apologize nor retreat from my public condemnation of them and of his policies. We should condemn them for the disrespect they show our people, for his willful and unconstitutional actions pursuant to obeying the constitutional parameters he is bound by, and his willful disregard for congressional authority. Dislike for them has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It has everything to do with their character, behavior, and attitudes and policies. And I have open scorn for their constantly playing the race card. I could go on, but let me conclude with this. I condemn in the strongest possible terms the media for refusing to investigate them, as they did President Bush and President Clinton, and for refusing to label them for what they truly are. There is no scenario known to man whereby a white president and his wife could ignore laws, flaunt their position, and lord over the people, as these two have been permitted out of fear of their color. As I wrote in a syndicated column titled Negro in the White House, never in my life, inside or outside of policies, have I witnessed such dishonesty in a political leader. He is the most mendacious political figure I've ever witnessed, even by the low standards of his presidential predecessors. His narcissistic, contemptuous, arrogant, and unequivocal using Obama as the bar Nero would have to be elevated to sainthood. Many in America wanted to be proud when the first person of color was selected president, but instead they have been witness to a congenital liar, a woman who has been ashamed of America her entire life. Failed policies, intimidation, and a commonality hereto not witnessed in political leaders. He and his wife view their life at our expense as an entitlement, while Americans, people go homeless, hungry, and unemployed. Good thing it was a black man that wrote that. Otherwise, the Obamas would be all over it. I agree with absolutely everything that he said. The only thing that I disagree with is when he referred to Mychal as Michelle. You want to take out the Mychal and put in Mychal. It even makes what he wrote more despicable, knowing that there is no first lady. There's a first transgender. And what troubles me with Mychal is he's ashamed of being who he is and what he is. If he wouldn't be ashamed, he would come out and admit the truth. If you like what I read, based on what Mychal Massie wrote, pass it along. If you don't like what I read that Mychal Massie wrote, maybe you want to go find another site. I want to thank Mychal Massie for writing what he wrote. And I'm glad as hell that he did.